Welcome back, Challenger fans. We're heading into our second series of the night, Eanix versus Cloud9 Challenger. And to help us break down the action, we are once again joined by the most optimal of Toms.
I'm back from the ether. I'm really glad your guys' desk can adapt to make a three-man desk. This is so much fun.
I'm so glad you used ether. That's all I can.
Not only was he watching the other game,
he was listening.
He was listening to us.
Well, that's my adaptation. I can do two things at once.
Oh!
Truly optimal.
Okay, so why don't you walk us through what happened with Game 1 between Cloud9 Challenger and Eanix?
Well, Cloud9 Challenger, we had a lot of questions surrounding them with contracts in the jungle coming into this series, but a lot of that was dispelled. Lane swaps back and forth. Cloud9 Challenger got a huge advantage and continued to catch Eanix out of position whenever they were moving them around the map. As you can see right here, Contract, he does get a little bit aggressive, but with a Zillion and a Kindred in your comp, it's really hard to lock these guys down.
Oh, you can mess that combo up too, but they were actually making it happen flawlessly.
Yeah, it was a lot of power coming out from the jungle. You can see here, towards the end of the game, there was really nothing Eanix can do. Once Cloud9 Challenger got that lead, the Vice Grips kind of closed on them, and it was a really quick game, just under 22 minutes.
Oh man, 22 minutes. Oh,
yeah.
And you can see they've got the Baron buff as well. It's 21.5 minutes for the win, 17-4, 8-2-2 on contracts with High at 3-0-7. And you know, the sort of big question was, Cloud9 Challenger not playing with Rush this week. How can Contracts do to fill those shoes?
Yeah, I think that Contracts is actually a very talented jungler. Mm-hmm. We had seen him in Ember, and we actually didn't get to see too much of him because he didn't come into playoffs, right? They replaced him with Santorin.
Yeah.
The startup and getting him in the lineup and having everybody be very kind of settled in was kind of rough, especially since a lot of the Ember members were being loaned to LCS teams, so that cut into time on the weekends for scrimming and whatnot. So I'm excited to see him. There was a lot of hype around him coming in last year. It kind of died down after people started seeing, oh, maybe he's not that incredible. Yeah. But I think that it was just the environment. I think he's still an incredible jungler.
Yeah, you saw on your screen just now, he had 8 kills, 2 deaths, and 2 assists. He made about 47% of Cloud9 Challenger's kills in that game. The Zillion Kindred Ultimates combination just let him be as aggressive as he wanted to be, and it looked like with the way that Cloud9 Challenger was moving around the map, he felt extremely comfortable going in and continuously bullying Shorter Ace out of the jungle, continuously going for those aggressive dives into the enemy jungle, and it paid off very well for Cloud9 Challenger. I believe only 4 deaths on them in the entire game.
Wow.
2 of them were on Contracts, overstepping his bounds a little early, and 2 of them were on Altec, which just wound up coming towards the end of the game.
Yeah. Okay. So the big question, though, was with Rush gone, how does Cloud9 Challenger play in the mid lane? Because a lot of what we saw from the success from Cloud9 Challenger was that High synergized well with Rush. Well, now he's got a new jungler.
It didn't really seem to affect High all too much.
Okay.
He did wind up changing his pick a little bit. He went for the Zillion, was 3-0-7, and he was pretty much that kind of ultimate bot. As a bot myself, I can sympathize and very much respect that. But it didn't really seem to affect their overall gameplay. High took a little bit of a backseat to the carry jungle playstyle of Kindred, which is kind of what we saw when Rush was doing the same thing. So not all too much different coming out from them.
Yeah, and I think that High also benefits from the fact that he was a jungler even before he was a mid laner, and then afterwards as well, he had a stint as a jungler for Cloud9. So I think that it allows him to understand the jungler mindset and be like, I'm going to gank this lane for the conditions of this is what I'm looking for. It's like when Zed uses W, that's when I go because he doesn't have his escape, right? Or the minion wave is pushed up past the halfway point. So he will set up the ganks appropriately for his team.
So we're really looking for Eanix to sort of adapt into this next set. But Tom, we will be back in just a bit. For now, we're going to get into the action with a quick look at the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is Eanix. In the top, it's RF Legendary. In the jungle, Shorter Ace. In the mid lane, Poppers OP, AD Carry Impactful, and their support, Body Drop.
Yep, support Body Drop in, I believe it was Nisker last week.
Evaniscus,
Yep, formerly Evaniscus. So now in Cloud9 Challenger, though, top lane, a lot of names you're going to remember here. Balls, Jungle, Contract stepping in for Rush, Mid, High, AD Carry, Altec, and support Lemonation. And fun fact, Altec was a part of the Cloud9 organization back before when he was on Cloud9 Tempest.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was the Glebe Tech bot lane. So he's
bringing it back.
Not too unfamiliar with working with some of these guys.
Yeah, well, we are expecting a lot of confident play out of Cloud9 Challenger in this set. Again, they're looking for the 2-0. I think it was rather unexpected for them to go 1-1 last week.
Yes, especially against a team like TLA. But I think that's the thing is like TLA is a good squad. And I guess I don't mean especially against them because they are a good squad, right?
Yeah.
So Cloud9 Challenger, I think that the idea was they're not going to drop a game. They look like an LCS caliber team. They look like they could be there already. And people are like, oh, they're kind of smurfing in Challenger. It's like, no, there's some teams that can give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Eanix is one of them.
Yeah, the big hope is that we will see a confident play out of Eanix as one of the newer teams into Challenger. They have got the bar set pretty high, especially considering how competitive this specific summer split of Challenger is. I mean, you've got Apex Pride, you've got TLA, Cloud9 Challenger, and Dream Team all making powerful runs.
Yeah, and I think that Eanix, they're kind of looking like they're that bottom tier team right now. I think it's kind of looking like they're going to slot into 6th. I mean, it hasn't been very kind to them in their start so far. I believe they played Dream Team, and now they're playing Cloud9 Challenger, but it doesn't get much easier.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the other teams to compare are performing pretty well. Team Liquid Academy looked very strong despite going 1-1, and Apex Pride finally able to take a win, looked like they might be coming online.
Yeah, Apex Pride, that's one, though. That's one.
That's one.
They've already dropped 3 games, and sometimes that can really affect your placement as we get down to the nitty-gritty, because that's 3 games out of 10.
Well, it might be that they just need the pilot light to start the furnace of Apex Pride. So as you can see, we are in picks and bans. We've been talking about this a little bit too long, but Ash taken away from Alltech, that quick and easy engage. Azir banned away from Popper's OP.
No, we were talking about that a little too long. There's a lot of things today we've been talking a little bit too long on.
Maybe I shouldn't call us out on that. Not exactly fair. Rek'Sai banned away from Contracts. Rise banned away from Eanix. No chance for that to go to Poppers or RF Legendary. And that Vladimir is still open with Eanix on blue side. They could try to force that.
Yeah, it was banned by Eanix last time. Nidalee was also a ban that they had thrown out there. If they play Vladimir, then they will most likely not ban it here. They'll ban the Nidalee instead.
Yeah, ban the Nidalee, force that Vladimir ban. And
they
in
don't
fact,
do
it's
it, though.
Kindred. Looks like Cloud9 Challenger are okay playing against this Vladimir.
I bet you High knows Nivea. I bet he'll play it into it if it happens.
Very experienced mid laner. Been playing in the LCS for 3 years, is it now? Well, I suppose 2.5. Can't really count the last one. Well, you can.
You can.
You can.
I mean,
I was thinking of it as like 2016 was the full year, but the spring versus summer split, I was like, oh, well, you can't. You count 2016 as half a year, but because they came in the summer in 2013, I guess it sort of works out.
Yeah, that's true.
But interesting, the Aurelia first pick for Eanix.
Yeah, a little bit strange because the Vladimir could go over. Aurelia was a champion that Eanix had actually last match, and they first picked it alongside a Karma. And if there's anything I know about Elimination, it's that he likes Karma.
Yeah.
He played it last time, not last game, but last week. Pretty much every time he could. Insert Elimination GIF here.
Yeah.
If he locks it in. And Karma support was something that he was kind of saying, it's really good, it works, it's fantastic. And then he's back now, right as it's coming into the meta, as well as Zyra. And we've been seeing kind of a criminally low amount of Zyra in Challenger.
Yeah. Whoa, hey, whoa.
It's not lemons, though.
Okay.
Not lemons.
All right, so Karma locked in, probably going to High in the mid lane. I don't think we're going to see High take Braum, but that puts Lemon on Braum, a little bit safer.
Yep, still a good champion for him.
Yeah.
The Karma, though, going over to High means that they've most likely already picked their mid laner. They could be a tank top Karma. I mean, I've seen crazier things.
Yeah.
But it's most likely going to that mid lane for High, which means that Vladimir is free for the taking. You don't have to rush that for Eanix unless you're scared of them picking it up for balls.
Yeah, you can see Poppers is waiting as Shorter Race insta-locked that Graves. We can assume Aurelia is going top to RF Legendary, and that Graves is going to Shorter Race. So far, everyone has been picking for themselves. This Vlad would be for Poppers if he were to lock it in. He's got 9 seconds left to do it.
And see if it happens. I don't know if he'll lock in the Vlad here. He might lock in a priority AD carry.
The Morgana is locked in. Black Shield, higher priority. than that Vladimir. Cloud9 Challenger, we'll see if they take it 4 balls or if he decides to go back to something a little more standard in the top lane. Or if he decides to bring him back old school, go for the Rumble, go for the Darius.
Oof.
Yeah.
Go back to the Rumble, which we haven't seen too much of at all. We did see him for a little bit where he looked like he was going to be an S-tier pick.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the changes that he went through, just very minor ones, but they still ended up being like the minion and stuff like that, like the Flame Spitter Dominion damage being increased.
Yeah, 20 seconds left for Cloud9 Challengers. So far, this has been a very interesting pick, specifically because of the lack of Vladimir. And in fact, he's going to be taking Trundle in the top lane. So Cloud9 Challenger holding on to counterpick 480 carries for Altec. And Elise is locked in for contracts as well.
So contracts on Elise, we've seen him on this champion before back in Challenger. Very aggressive on it. He's also aggressive on things like back when there was a Mundo.
Yeah,
the jungle, he would pull that out and be very aggressive on it.
The
knows the
Cinder
limits
Hulk
of it.
regen.
Yeah, and especially against a non-CC jungler. But picking Elise into Morgana is always a little bit risky, just because of the fact that the Black Shield can really shut down your engage.
However, when it does land, you've got Karma to follow it up. You've got Braum, you've got Trundle. There's a lot of crowd control on Cloud9.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of crowd control. The Braum is definitely going to help out as well. I think that you round out this composition on Cloud9 Challenger side with an AD carry that has a little bit of range / wave clear. I think that like Caitlyn would be a really good pickup here for Caitlyn Braum bot lane. I think that you could still pick up Jhin.
Yeah, it looks like the Vladimir is going to be locked in at the last second for
Or
Popper.
Twitch.
Talk about range.
Talk about range.
And wave clear when you've got the ultimate as well. So that's going to be Vladimir locked in for Popper's OP. That Morgana is going to body drop in the bottom lane.
It might body drop in the bot lane too. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But this is a combination that Twitch, people talked about it where they're like, oh, Twitch is a counterpick Lucian. It's not exactly a counterpick. The laning phase is passable. He's still abused by Lucian a little bit, but the laning phase is passable, and that's fantastic because most of Twitch's matchups are not passable.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't play him. But when you reach mid-game, your range is so much more superior that you become a counterpick to him later on. So it's not for the lane phase, it's for the late game team fights that you end up picking this Twitch.
And this is the sort of thing that we know Cloud9 is good at, getting the flanks, getting the picks, getting the team fights that allow them to transition into objectives and play across the map more effectively.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how this ends up going for them against a Vladimir, because Vladimir, we've seen he's very potent in power, but sometimes he doesn't get off the ground and you're able to shut the game down. And we saw a 21-minute victory from Cloud9 last game. So this could be a very quick one for them if they're able to execute and out-rotate like they did in game 1.
It certainly could be. Now, Eanix, though, they do have a couple of strong picks. Again, I'm very surprised by the fact that Vlad was able to make it down so low in the priority, focusing on the Aurelia into an eventual Trundle.
Yeah, because Aurelia is a pick right now that a lot of people think doesn't have a lot of counters. That is incredibly strong. If you get it fed, then it wins the game for you. But I think that she's an assassin for 80 carries.
Yeah.
Right? She's that mildly more tanky bruiser assassin diver.
Yeah.
I think I'd describe her as a diver in most of these fights.
You've got Aurelia and Vlad who are both going to be hunting down any sorts of Twitches that pop out of stealth.
Yeah.
So Elimination's going to have his work cut out for him in this one.
Yeah, but as Braum, it's not impossible. They do have to watch out, though, for like Morgana bindings and the like.
Yeah.
And they also have to watch out for that laning phase. I'm a little interested to see. I think that you lane swap if you're Cloud9 Challenger. First off, you think that your lane swap is a little bit better because you have way more professional play. And also, I think that you do it because, well, you have a melee matchup as a support versus a range matchup as a support. So I think that you keep your Twitch and Braum kind of on the roam.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the Vision game works out. Let us know how this game is going to play. Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag ENXWin or hashtag C9C win. We'll tally those votes as we get onto the Rift for this. Is Cloud9 Challenger going to be able to get their first 2-0, or will they split once again and allow Eanix to take a game of their own?
Yeah, Eanix, though, they desperately want that win. Like I was saying with Apex, though, you don't want to start off week 3 0-4. You don't even want to start it off 1-3. It ends up being a very hard, a very big deficit to try and come back from. And it's very demoralizing.
Yeah, it really is difficult. We already saw Apex Pride taking their first win of Cloud9 Challenger. So they're probably going to be feeling pretty good about that. Perhaps going to use that as a morale boost. So far, okay, so let's take a look if there is going to be line swap. Shorter Ace pops out for a bit of damage onto Contracts. He's going to eat a fair bit of damage on his own. High getting some good damage. The Volatile Spiderling drops Shorter Ace down to about 180 health as Cloud9 aggressively pressure forward. Eanix currently have got Impactful and Body Drop on that bottom side of the map, and it looks like Alltech and Elimination are going to be doing the same thing as they're already on that side. Could be going for a late invade here.
Yeah, it could be the late invade. I definitely assume that the teams are going to invade each other because they think it's a lane swap. It always seems to happen. But it could be a face check. You do have to watch out, though. Body Drop leveled his W versus a Braum.
Yeah, not exactly a happy.
Yeah, I think that if Elimination was standing in that bush and able to actually get his passive off, then it could be pretty GG.
Yeah, for now, it looks like everyone is going to just farm it out in those standard lanes. 2 versus 2. And 2 minutes in, Elimination and Alltech kite it forward, get a good tag onto Impactful. Exhaust you preemptively. Body Drop eats a stun. Heal is used. Oh, the poison is ticking, but Body Drop should be able to heal through it with his potions.
Ooh. Yeah, and that's the thing, is this matchup, I was talking about it's a range matchup. Well, when he takes W level 1, you really don't have anything as Morgana damage-wise. It's very low damage. It does more based on how low the person is, but it's still not that great of an ability. It's to shove the wave, and it got completely abused there. So Cloud9 Challenger pretty much win that lane off of Elimination landing his passive, and then the stack up there. They got the exhaust and the flash from Body Drop, as well as the heal from Impact, and they use no summoners themselves.
Yeah, very favorable trade for Cloud9 Challenger. A little bit of what we expected from the more experienced players. As Shorter Ace, he's going to be starting off with his red buff here. Elimination has got vision, could look for something a bit greedy as he walks forward to bully Shorter Ace out.
Yeah, he does have to watch out, though. Body Drop over the wall.
Ooh, Binding will catch Elimination, but he's already got his Unbreakable to soak a bit of that damage. Yeah, and Shorter Ace is able to get there. Meanwhile, High comes to help him out. Popper's OP takes some damage.
It takes a lot of damage there. Yeah. He basically got shoved out of lane completely. He's going to have to recover off of the minions. It's super risky to stay, though. After eating that last one there, he can't really go up. And that minion wave is actually pushing towards High, so the good manipulation there of that wave for the mid laner of C9.
Yeah, so 3.5 minutes in. Cloud9 already going very aggressive with Elimination and High, the old tag team brought back here in the Challenger scene. This Contracts invades now into Shorter Ace's jungle. Balls continues to put pressure on that top side of the map. And so far, looks like everyone is content to just take their time, play it out after that early aggression from Cloud9. Sort of continue to look for those small incremental leads in the lane that we're sort of expecting from the more experienced laners.
Yeah, expect the CS advantages, especially look at that mid lane. It was really good manipulation by High and also walking up and being on the right side and really punishing Popper's OP for trying to take a really greedy route. But overall, Elimination actually helped his team out by going for the invade. He slowed down Shorter Ace. He also allowed his mid laner to win, and down bottom.
Yeah, once again, continuing to trade. Just bully Eanix out of lane. Deny as much as you possibly can.
And Impactful and Body Drop. I know that last week they were playing with Evaniscus, with Nisker, and it's a combo that actually duo queues all the time. And slotting Body Drop in, not 100% on the synergy here. Alltech Elimination, they've had some time to actually get together and, synergize, but Eanix, I believe, is the only team that doesn't have a gaming house in Challenger right now. They're all kind of spread out. I think that Impactful, this is like his summer job. I know that Evaniscus is still going to school.
Alltech cheats forward. Black Shield is going to find Impactful, but Body Drop eats a stun. Remember, he's got no summoners from the early trade, and Alltech takes some big damage.
Yeah, body drop though, not landing any of his abilities there to really help out. Like the black shield for the stun, the Q to actually hit Altec. And Graves on this side of the map as well, yeah. It's good to realize that the ward is being cleared.
Yeah, Cloud9 Challenger playing nice and defensive, knowing that Graves is in the area. Don't want to overextend or give up any unnecessary kills. So far, even in gold, pretty even in CS, as Poppers has had some time to catch back up. And again, things are a little bit slow, a little patient. Altec's very low health, but he knows that he's safe for now. Here comes Contracts. Might be looking for a gank. Flash. Flash Cocoon isn't going to miss as Poppers pulls.
Yep. Poppers pools. OP. Goes right into the ground for just a second. But yeah, he's going to have to back again. And that's just even more of an advantage here for High. And High, yeah, like I've been saying pretty much this entire game, his manipulation of the wave has actually been quite beautiful. And he's setting it up for jungle ganks constantly. Contracts can pretty much go to that lane anytime and it'll be in High's favor. And High will shove it up to the turret with his great wave clear on Karma, pop the mantra, and have it bounce towards him and slow bounce again.
Yeah, he's actually now roaming towards the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Very risky, though, to even shove up, but this is bot lane, impactful and body drop. They have to realize, though.
Something is amiss, and it is Karma. So they decide to play it safe and defensive. The pink ward gets cleared. Shorter ace on the top side of the
balls.
map. Finds balls. He's got flash. He does flash, and they chase. First blood, RF Legendary.
Yeah, on that Aurelia, this could snowball for them. The first pick coming out. And RF, he struggled when he was in the LCS on a lot of these top laners, but Aurelia is right up his alley. He used to be a player of like Nidalee only and stuff like that, but is also dabbled in a lot of Aurelia. So seeing him on this champion, if he gets that first blood, he gets rolling, it could be really bad for Cloud9.
Ooh. Contracts is able to follow that quick and easy and dies easily.
It's called the greed.
Contracts.
The greed again. Contracts walking into the jungle to clear Krugs afterwards, has no business being there, gets the ward down and sees that the red buff is there, but that's going to make him lose his own, and Contracts being, collapsed on.
Yeah, there's the greed on the other side of the map. Contracts goes down to Popper's OP.
I see your greed, and I raise you another.
Oh, Altec is going for the greed too, trying to stealth on top of a ward. Flash forward, elimination to the rescue.
Oh, he's 6 though.
Oh man, the stun finds Impactful. They're going to try to finish off Altec, and they succeed. Impactful is very low. Lemonation might try to follow this up. Here comes High.
Oh, he hit 6!
There's the culling. It's going to flash. Auto attack is going to get the kill for body drop, and Impactful, despite the ignite, goes down, binding over the wall, turns this around 5-1 Eanix.
9 minutes in the game, Eanix pick up 5 kills off of Cloud9 being greedy, and that just looked like overconfidence from start to finish for every single member there. Altec, he could have run, he could have backed off, decides I'm going to reopen and pops the ultimate. Watch this again. That's the ward dying right as he throws it there, hits Altec, has the flash, gets the stealth off, and he can walk away. But they decide to turn. Hits Impactful, Exhaust comes down, Exhaust used onto body drop, and then Impactful says I can go forward, gets it, turns, hits him, but because of that kill, the experience got level 6 for Impactful, who then leveled up his ultimate to whittle him down and get that kill. If that first kill had not gone over, that second kill would have not gone over because of the experience.
Yeah, very greedy play for Cloud9 Challenger. Perhaps looking for another 22-minute win, but this time it looks like it's going to be a little bit more difficult, considering that 4-kill deficit, 1,500 gold. However,
and it's all across the map.
Yeah, Earthdrake is now being attempted by Cloud9 Challenger. Looks like Eanix are going to collapse, and in fact, they might try to turn this into a fight. Seems like they want to back away. Don't take any chances.
Yeah. Every member of Cloud9 Challenger has died once. It's synergy right there.
Yeah.
Across the board, 1 in the death column for every single person. But that means that it's not really there's a lane that's ahead and all the other ones are feeding. It's like, no, everybody is behind in these matchups. So now it becomes all about teamwork to try and get back to even, get back to power neutral, because everyone's behind.
Yeah, 11 minutes in, and Cloud9 are denied the Drake. Eanix currently ahead in just about every lane. You talked about the snowball that RF Legendary could do. Well, what if all of Eanix could snowball? Well, everyone except for Shorter Ace. He's the only member of his team who doesn't have a kill right now.
Yeah, he's actually, I believe, slightly behind Contracts, who has a kill to his name. Oh, actually, no. It's a little bit up in gold. Huh. By about 160. So, jungler CS is always very deceiving because you don't know what that CS was. Maybe he cleared Raptors 3 times, whereas he got a lot of scuttles. And High might die here.
Yeah, the
no
heal
flash
is going to tick. He drops the shield, and Poppers goes under the turret. He's able to get a solo kill onto Cloud9 Challengers High.
Yeah, and Poppers has only tank at the moment. Sure, it gives Vladimir a little bit more damage because he has % of his own HP damage on a lot of his abilities. And he just dives the turret, and he's fully capable of doing so with his tank stats. Really well played there, and I'm super surprised that this Vladimir was overlooked by Cloud9 Challenger and Champion Select, because Poppers is going off.
Yeah, for so many
popping
rounds.
off.
Yeah. OP. It went through so many rounds of the draft as well. It really took a long time to get there. Whoa, balls! Once again being dived. He drops the subjugate to get nice and tanky. However, this is a large minion wave. Here comes Contracts to potentially try to turn this. He's waiting in Tribush right now. Yeah, and Balls tries to kite them in. Here comes Contracts.
He's got to land the Cocoon.
Ooh, the Cocoon completely misses, and Contracts is forced to let it go.
Yep. The Cocoon hit, then I definitely think you try and fight that, but it has to land. And Cloud9 Challengers bot lane, trying to catch Impactful, but Body Drop also has his ultimate. Body Drop could flash ulti onto Altec, and there's no flash on Altec. There's an exhaust as well, so like they could make a play in this bot lane. I actually think you make a play. I think you make a play here if you are Body Drop. But here comes High down.
Yeah,
and they saw him roaming.
Knock up onto Impactful. He's got a flash of his own, but he drops to High. The full tether snares him down.
Yep, they went after Impactful, who didn't have his flash, just like Altec didn't.
Popper's trading with Contracts. He's a lot of damage, but he should be able to regen back up.
I'm surprised that Eanix did not go for the play that was right in front of them as soon as they recognized it was possible. Because if you make that play, you would have killed them or at least had that disengage before High got there.
Cocoon misses Shorter Ace as it looks like Cloud9 might be looking for a bit more, trying to get some vision around this Mountain Drake. And Eanix potentially a bit afraid of pulling the trigger on that sort of play against Cloud9 Challenger.
Yeah,
maybe a bit of the Rainover effect?
The Rainover effect, where they get an extra boost just for being them, right? It's like
it's the name factor.
Yeah, if you put C9 next to your name, are you instantly perceived as a better player?
Well, that's the Rainover effect in question. Well, so that was the joke last week with Team Liquid Academy versus Cloud9, was that TLA didn't try anything in Game 1. They played passive the entire match and lost very convincingly. And the joke I made with Azael was turn off nameplates. You're playing just another game against just another team. Doesn't matter who you're playing against. And immediately in the next game, they played like a different team and were able to take a win. So you've got to wonder if Eanix maybe could take a cue from that.
Maybe they turned the nameplates off.
Exactly.
Maybe they listened to you.
Shift K. Well, that's not true. It's no longer the default Shift K anymore. I'm actually not sure why. Because how often do you
Is there a K in nameplates?
K? No, I have no idea why it was, but the original default key binding was Shift K to turn on and off nameplates.
Huh.
But when they updated the menu, they changed it so that there is no longer a default toggle for nameplates. You have to set your own custom toggle.
It's mostly because people would. I mean, if you're trying to spell a word that starts with K and you want to capitalize it, Shift K would.
Oh, K.
What?
Can you come gank my lane? K.
Yeah.
Coon finds RF Legendary. Looks like Shorter Race is just a bit too slow. RF Legendary goes down. He's going to try to kill Contracts. Walking into melee range of Graves, not the best idea, but Balls continues to chase.
Still, 1-for-1 trade, though, overall. The kill going over, but we'll see what happens here. Alltech looking for a surprise.
Ooh, they hop forward. Black Shield is going to soak the knockup and the stun.
Oh!
Binding will find Alltech. I don't think they can follow it up. No culling, though.
Yeah, I still think that's a slightly late exhaust, slightly late ultimate there from Body Drop. He takes a lot of damage, and it's a scenario that could have been turned around. And here comes High roaming down, and he's there first. As the Karma, you're going to get there faster. You have the shield that gives you the movement speed. And now Poppers is also in the area, but he's not showing himself just yet. He's got to come down. He's on that ward.
Yeah, waiting in that tri-bush. Little afraid to fully commit to it. Shorter Ace going for the greed once
Scene of the crime.
Oh, no.
Back at the scene of the crime.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Ah, man, deja vu.
Oh, Alltech eats a binding. Lemonation drops a shield. Not going to use the Unbreakable just yet as the turret drops with 1 minion left. Cloud9 Challenger take the first of the game.
And after that bad start, we're seeing it again.
Yeah,
And
flash
RF,
from
though.
High. RF
Whew.
collapses. Quick kill, Poppers OP. 3-0.
Super squishy there. You saw that. As soon as the Trinity Force came out, RF Legendary immediately starts roaming. I assume he's going to go Yomu's Ghostblade next, and he's going to try to jump on Twitch, and he's going to try to jump onto High. That might actually be the Black Cleaver.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They're chasing on the Poppers right now. He's got a flash, but dodges the Winter's Bite with a quick pull.
Yeah, that's the ability you need to dodge there. Otherwise, everything else is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, that Mountain Drake still untouched since Cloud9 Challenger's earlier attempt to secure it. And the gold lead that Eanix had slowly disappearing as Cloud9 Challenger, despite trading a few kills over, are getting themselves back into this game. It's no longer 5-1, it's 8-4, so still a 4-kill difference as most of these have been 1-for-1, but we're seeing Alltech open up a minor gold lead.
And of course, as the game goes on longer, your gold lead is actually less of a percentage difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like to look at is, oh, do they have, 120% of the enemy team's gold? Well, that's absurd. Now it's just a 1,000 gold lead, and so it's like they have about 5% more.
Yeah, and even so, it's about the conversion of that into items. Yep. What does that mean in terms of actual stats? So far, it's fairly even between the two.
Yeah.
And now Cloud9 continuing to catch minions in the mid lane. Falls in an RF Legendary, trading it out a bit on the top side. Lots of damage onto Balls. He's actually forced to use the Subjugate onto RF Legendary.
Yeah, and back off as well. Can't stick around. Turret is very low, though. That is a very low turret from RF.
Oh, knockup just barely misses Shorter Ace as Lemonation is trying to catch up. There's a flash. Yomu's body drop is out of vision. He's going to drop a stun, finally going to go down. And Shorter Ace, makes it over the wall. Contracts can't quite follow. High will try to secure the kill. He's got no flash. Poppers drops the Hemo Plague and heals so much damage onto High, and he survives the Hemo Plague. There's a stun onto Poppers. A late pull. Oh, he's going to be able to heal back up as well, and Cloud9 Challenger are able to kite it out.
So close to picking up kills there on both Poppers and Contracts. Everybody just basically flirting with death there. And Body Drop again. He had a really good Black Shield, but the scenarios in which he's using his ultimate are either too late or he's just missing the opportunity. He's missing the window slightly. Because there was an okay one in there where you start it to get them to disengage and then you get the exhaust off. I think his exhaust actually might have been on cooldown for a couple more seconds. I'm going to double check it because I know he didn't have flash. No, he did have exhaust for that. So didn't use his exhaust on the Twitch that was opening up on his team and didn't actually throw in the ultimate at the right time either. So
Minor misplays.
yeah, it's stuff like that though that when those opportunities are right in front of you and you're not playing it correctly, it's the difference between the Challenger and the LCS is that recognizing those opportunities is something that gets you back in a game where you're down 5-1.
Cloud9 Challenger again, demonstrating that they have got the capacity to play at the high level. Now down only 400 gold, what was once a 2,000 gold lead for Eanix. Almost evening out as Cloud9 Challenger, again, looking for those incremental advantages here and there.
Okay. So, they're getting those incremental advantages, and you can see only a 400 gold difference here between these two teams. And Eanix are showing that they're individually skilled, that they can actually, capitalize on mistakes, and they can have these skirmishes. And I'm looking at RF right now because he's got a lot of the gold. He's got the highest kill participation on his team as a top lane Aurelia that was first picked for him. And his second item is going to be a Sterix, is what it looks like. He's not going for the Frozen Mallet. I hope. He's going for Sterix, which seems like a natural fit because Trinity Force is so strong, and Trinity Force is off of your base damage, and Sterix increases your base damage. So instead of Trinity Force becoming a 200% bonus, it becomes a 250 or a 300 when Sterix is actually proc.
Yeah, it looks like they're now trading objectives across the map. The top tier 1 goes down with some help from Eanix, but that Mountain Drake is secured by Cloud9 in answer, finally going to take that first Drake of this game. And Cloud9 Challenger actually continuing to pressure down on that bottom lane. Flash from Poppers. He's found High, who does not have his flash for another few seconds, and High is destroyed. Meanwhile, the bottom tier 2 actually did go down to a successful play from Cloud9. They're looking for RF Legendary, going to try to burst him down. He does have a lot of health, dives onto Altec, and he's able to kill him in time. Balls is just a little bit too late to the fight. They're going to trade 2 for 1. And now Impactful has been caught out.
The body drop.
There goes the binding, and Cloud9 Balls is not going to be able to get this kill. Finally cleaned up by Impactful as they trade back.
Man, across the map, Cloud9 Challenger getting caught. It's actually quite ironic because everybody is getting caught, everybody is getting blown up, and then Contracts is like, team. He overextended once, and then he got caught out once, but he's got the highest kill participation on his team by actually a good margin here. Second highest is his bot lane combined, but it's not his fault at all. It's like, this is the solo queue jungler's nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like, play to your winning lane. It's like, none of them are winning. Opens up, TP comes through. Really well played here by RF Legendary. Gets stunned, but of course, the extra tenacity, able to jump in and oof. Late on the exhaust there, they didn't expect RF to jump in. If that exhaust had come out earlier and it had been on the Blade Surge, that was a Trinity Force Blade Surge right into his face.
Yeah, Sheen proc.
Blew him up. And then really well played there by Impactful. Instead of kiting up to the left, which it looked like he wanted to do, as soon as the pillar came down, he noticed body drop is coming from the right side of the stream, from the east, and able to go towards him.
With that, Eanix once again reclaim a gold lead, 1,500, as they continue to pressure those advantages. The Sterix has been finished for RF Legendary. Continues to try trading it out with Balls, who's now completed his Titanic Hydra.
Yep, very close to completing his Frozen Heart as well, which is a great item to have against the Aurelia, because she's pretty much all auto-attack based against you. Against your AD carry, she's everything.
Yeah.
She just rushes them and rolls her face on the keyboard from left to right.
And then back.
And sometimes right to left, yeah.
Alrighty, 24 minutes in. Now fighting over Vision on this side of the map. Contracts again, playing nice and safe. He's completed his Rylai's and doesn't have the Smite Stone, so he's not going to be quite too great. Now it looks like Poppers is going to take some damage. An early pool has been used. High chases forward. In fact, a late Ghost from Poppers too.
Yeah, it wasn't even an ultimate from Altec either, so he still has that available for the team fight. If it comes out, RF a little bit late on the collapse here.
That's a huge Hemo Plague, but the tier 1 turret already goes down, and despite the slow and damage from Poppers, there's no follow-up, and Cloud9, again, they're just playing the map so well that they're able to neutralize any lead that Eanix had.
Yeah, everybody had a lead in their lanes for Eanix, and yet when you look at the turret count, it's 4-1 in favor of Cloud9. But the kills...
Binding finds High, and wow!
Different story there. The kills going over to Eanix pretty much every time. The pick, the binding, regardless of what it is, Eanix are being able to pick these up. Next step is actually getting an advantage afterwards.
Oh, Contracts picked off 1v5. Eanix send 5 members and secure a quick kill. With it, they're able to take another tier 1 in answer. Meanwhile, Balls is shoving up down the mid lane. There are some late recalls coming out of Eanix, and in fact, Balls could be able to drop down this tier 2 turret. Altec is on his way as well, and they're going to be able to get the tier 2 before Eanix can respond, but they're caught as here comes Popper's OP looking to flank and collapse Flash. He's got the Rylai slow. There's no escape for Altec anymore. He's just outside the Hemoblade pool, but he finally drops to the pool of blood, and Balls is going to be the one who escapes with his life.
So fast. The Vladimir with the extra movement speed. When he uses his Q when it's fully charged, he actually gets a burst of bonus movement speed. So he gets to chase you. When he pulls, I believe it also gives him bonus movement speed for the duration of it. So can't run away from him, especially with the Rylais.
Yeah. So difficult to escape from that Vladimir. 6-0-1. Popper's OP is huge right now on that Vlad. An enormous bounty on him. If Cloud9 could get that, it would help very much. But with the mid tier 2 down and the bottom tier 2 drop, Cloud9 Challenger still ahead in turrets 5-2. As right now, Mountain Drake is about to spawn in 50 seconds. Not a lot of vision on that side of the map, though. Eanix do still have some deep wards from when they they pushed on that side just a few minutes ago. Could use that to try to collapse.
Yep. It's about playing the map right now. And Cloud9 are demonstrating that they can do that.
Well, they are the more experienced team.
But, yeah. The experience doesn't seem to be in favor of these brawls, though. Their composition really needs to make it to that late game, but they're up against a Vladimir, and they're up against a Fed Lucian at the moment. So the Aurelia as well is just going to be a really big deal. And
oh, Altec destroys. Impactful. Popper's OP gets zoned out of the fight. And despite RF Legendary getting deep into the back line, he just doesn't have any follow-up. He drops another kill to Altec. Knock up onto body drop. That's 3 members dead. Popper's already used his pool. Now he finally is going to drop it. Gets deep into the enemy lines, but goes down. And Cloud9 Challenger win a huge fight.
yeah, this is actually going to give them a gigantic gold lead as they run straight towards the Baron. Shorter Ace, it's pretty much on his shoulders. There's some low members here, but I don't think it's enough for him to actually pick it up. He'll have to actually make a hero play. They'll stop damage on this. That's already the pillar, though, and they're just going to throw damage onto him, trying to pick up Shorter Ace ahead of time.
Yeah, High is finally going to be able to catch up. He flashes over the wall, but drops to Contracts.
Almost. If he was able to actually get off a Q, an R, and maybe an auto, and then smite, it may have been in range. The 1400 and bursting it down. Smite's about 800 right now, so.
I like how you just were like, if he were to get a Q, an R, an auto, a smite,
well, yeah, he was
maybe a W.
Well,
if you'll toss a kitchen sink in there.
Well, what he was going for was the QR and then the smite.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't blame him for going for that, but this is actually insane. Altec opens up with his Yomu's Ghostblade on. I believe he had completed Infinity Edge by this point, and that was what really made him want to jump in, was that plus the Runan's Hurricane oh wait, no, it was not completed just yet. He had the components of it, but that plus the Runan's Hurricane and the Yomu was just a huge burst in the effective gold that he had. And his combat stats were just off the charts there. He did a phenomenal job of finding the right angle, lining up priority targets, because he pretty much got the dream opening there as Twitch.
Yeah, that's double Mountain Drake now picked up by Cloud9 Challenger. They've still got the Baron buff for another 2.5 minutes or so, possibly even 3. And with this, there's only 1 tier 2 turret left standing for Eanix. This could easily be a few inhibitors if Cloud9 Challenger play the map properly. And this is a play that they are well accustomed to. I believe it was only last split when this very similar lineup was the most effective Baron team in all of the LCS.
Yeah, 3 members from it a while ago. And, no, still having those Baron calls be very aggressive after they win a fight, so they're able to capitalize very quickly. But here we go, trying to break the base.
Yeah, High eats a binding. RF Legendary takes a stun and is punished just a bit. Cannon Minion gets a shield to soak some of the damage here as they're trying to whittle it down, finally able to drop down that Cannon Minion, but the waves will keep coming. That Baron buff is still up for another 2 minutes now.
Ooh. Yeah, Baron buff helping a lot, especially with the wave clear that we're seeing coming out, because it's pretty low, and if they walk up, they'll get punished for it. Popper's OP trying to get to that back line.
Yeah, shorter ace is going to knock away some of the damage. Altec is in the back. There's a knockout from Lemonation. No one's able to touch Altec just yet. RF Legendary dashes in, but he's going to drop to high at Altec. Popper's OP will die to Lemonation, who gets a kill of his own. Currently 2 members dead. A lot of the wave clear missing. They've still got the Baron buff for Cloud9 Challenger. Altec gonna try to sneak forward. Let's see if he will be spotted by anything. Yeah, he's finally gonna pull the minion wave. They can try to end the game right here. Cloud9 Challenger have got double out Mountain Drake. They shred through these Nexus turrets. There's a culling, but it's just not enough. The minions and Baron buff combined are able to shred through the 2 Nexus turrets. They flash forward aggressively, but the Nexus is undefended. Another set of kills for Altec. 5, 3, and 7, and Cloud9 Challenger take their first 2-0 and tie it up with kills in ENX. Cloud9 Challenger 2-0.
It was looking so good for Eanix in the early game. It looked like they were going to have a snowball that starts. The Aurelia's getting going, right? Then that team fight in the mid lane, which really propelled Cloud9 back into the game. And then right from there, I believe it only took them about 3 more minutes to end the game. They end with Baron buff pretty much coming off of them at that point. So props to Altec, props to the C9 squad for that point onward, because before that, it was really messy.
Yeah, and again, this is the Cloud9 Challenger similar team where when they take the Baron, they know how to end the game.
Yes, that is a very, very definitive trait of Cloud9, is whenever they were able to get the Baron, they were able to get themselves back in the game and get themselves ahead. And they knew that the Baron was kind of a blessing, that you have to use it during that time. You just have to get everything you can with it. And they did that. You saw that a lot of teams in that situation, 29 minutes in, probably would have backed off because they're like, oh, Graves is up there. Their 80 carries up too.
We could take our time. We can relax.
It was like, nope.
Not Cloud9.
Go in the game. I got something to do today. Let's go.
Cloud9 relax. I don't believe it, but we've actually got a few replays for you. Here is Cloud9's rough start to the match. Really, they tried, but it just didn't quite work.
Yeah, and at that point, you kind of have to cut your losses. Went over this before where, you don't have to fight it. If you do, then, well, the first kill goes over. Impactful hits 6 off of it. And, yeah. They decided to stop kiting towards high, because if they had kept backing up and Eanix had been aggressive, then high would have been able to reinforce, and then RF comes in and picks up high. So it's a 3-for-0 because all of the Eanix members, they make it out of there relatively untouched, but this is a great turnaround.
Yeah, this is 27 minutes in. Altec unload.
Well, that's the best ultimate he could hope for. Through Vladimir and through Lucian, and then RF tries to dive, and he can't kill high. Altec is not the target, can't get on him, and that just becomes the nightmare there for the Aurelia. So all the damage goes down, tries to return it, but it's still not enough. So perfect ultimate and opening from Altec. They didn't see it coming, and also RF diving the back line, not able to get on the Twitch, and it really hurt them, because that was a Cloud9 team fight composition. I was talking about how, sure, they lost the early game, they lost the skirmish, they're playing for the late game, but Vladimir has late game. These guys have late game. But they played it perfectly.
They definitely did. And to talk a little bit more about that first replay, the fact that they were so greedy over the course of the match, time and time again, funnily enough, it was the newest member of the team, Contracts, who demonstrated greed and then was like, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Yeah. And then proceeded to play safe throughout the rest of the map. At one point, I think you mentioned he had 4 out of 6 of his team's kill participation.
Yeah.
So again, just showing this new lineup, despite the fact that Rush only left a few days ago, they're already comfortable playing with Contracts. He's demonstrating he can keep pace with the LCS level players.
I think the Contracts is a very talented player. I think that he's got a lot of potential. Still very young, right? He's only eligible to play in the LCS, I believe, next split. So wasn't able to play in this one if he had been picked up by any teams. So next split is where I'm looking for him to shine. But right now, he's with Cloud9, who are 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
With a win and a tie.
Probably feels pretty good. Now, on the other side, Eanix, they've still got a lot of their work cut out for them. That's their second 0-2. And you've got to start to wonder what they can try to do to turn this around. We saw in the game, too, when they had openings, when they had mistakes handed to them, they were able to get some of these kills and sort of accumulate a lead.
Yeah, it was a really sloppy game there from Cloud9 Challenger at the start, and they were able to abuse that. Still very risky, and you saw that was kind of it's kind of revealed in the mid game where Cloud9 went, okay, let's just get it together. Let's make this play. Let's go. And they just shredded through them. And you saw how quickly it turned around, right? It's a slow buildup from Eanix. And at one point, it's 4-1 in turrets, not in their favor.
Yeah.
So increased their macro game strategy. They kept trying to 5-man bulldozer down lanes. Sure, they'd get 2 kills, but then they'd lose mid and top turret during that time. So then it ends up just not being worth it at all.
Yeah, that's something that might work against like a solo queue style team that can't react fast enough. But they're playing against someone like High, who has been the head of Cloud9 for such a long time. But there's still one more game coming your way. We're gonna we'll be previewing Nova versus Dream Team when we come back. Stay with us.
Yeah, we get Tom back.
Yeah,
Tom and Dom.
Optimus Tom, the Tom Dom. It's Dom time.
Contracts being collapsed on.
Yeah, there's
Here's
the
the flash.
greed on the other side of the map. Here comes High.
he hit 6.
There's the culling. It's going to flash. Auto attack is going to get the kill for body drop. And impactful, despite the ignite goes down, binding over the wall, turns this around. He does have a lot of health, dives onto Altec, and he's able to kill him in time. Balls is just a little bit too late to the fight. They're going to trade 2 for 1. And now Impactful has been caught out.
Run the body drop.
There goes the binding. And Cloud9 Balls is not going to be able to get this kill. Oh, Altec destroys Impactful. Popper's OP gets zoned out of the fight. There's a knockout from Lemonation. No one's able to touch Altec just yet. RF Legendary dashes in, but he's going to drop to High and Altec. Popper's OP will die to Lemonation. Cloud9 Challenger take their first 2-0.